That was garbage.
This place sucks.
Overreaction Monday.
Christopher, you have the floor.
All right, these two teams were the two biggest favorites of the week. They both won by double digits. We should just skip right to Bills-Eagles Super Bowl right now.
I will say that's an overreaction. As much as I'd like to buy both, as you know, have been sitting atop my power rankings for darn near a month as 1 and 2, unmoved despite your heckling.
Me, not just me.
That's why I'm looking at TJ Jefferson.
Well, let's be honest.
When
My
I said you were heckling.
was a year in the making of you heckling me every time I did a.
You know what? This is not. This is not a tit for tat, sir. This is
it technically was. So
this
that was
is
just
a tat. It's
but
a
you
tat.
notice I've stopped. You've noticed I've stopped. I just got it in. Let you know how it felt.
I'm going to keep it.
I don't know, man. There's still a Chiefs can do what they want to do. I still want to see what the Bengals look like when it's all said and done. The Titans are tightening up right now.
Titans are
And
tightening.
then, of course, you've got Dallas in the NFC. You've got San Francisco looking the way that it looked this past week in a week-to-week league. I got to sit here and say that's an overreaction. That's what I'm going to say.
All right.
Yes, Chris?
I'm pretty proud of this one, actually. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, good at the football. They've now combined for 1,688 receiving yards through 8 games. That's the most by any teammates through 8 games in the Super Bowl era.
That's a lot of football you're talking
A lot
about.
of football. They are already better than the Marx brothers.
That's I mean...
Duper and Clayton.
I know you're talking about Marino's tandem.
Yeah. They're really freaking good, man.
I know that. I'm just going to call it an overreaction just because I don't have everything in front of me, and that's just it's just too soon. 1/2 a season, you can't sit here and say something like that.
Sure.
But you can use that as a frame of reference and also point out the fact that would mean Tua's the Marino in this equation.
By the way,
and
Tua's throwing up some numbers, man.
Out. He is balling out. And right now, he looks like the pick in front of Justin Herbert, doesn't he? And I know that's just a snapshot. You want to talk about just snapshots through 8 weeks. Tua is having a much better season than a guy who had so many people talking about he's the MVP, referring to Justin Herbert coming into the season. And Tua has been most valuable for Miami. So that's the way I will handle your supposition before I ask you to move on. What else you got?
By the way, just speaking of Tua real quick, 70% completion percentage, and he leads the NFL in passer rating at 113 and QBR at 79. He's been awesome.
Yep.
Pretty impressive. All right. NFC South is hot garbage. We can all agree with that. The NFC South winner is going to be sub 500, and they're going to host an 11-plus win team in the playoffs.
I think that's a good one. I think you're right. I think 8-9 would be
8-9.
You know, your sub 500 record of choice, and an 11-win team. That's
Cowboys have 11 wins.
Cowboys,
probably?
Giants could.
Giants?
I mean, you got 2 teams that are hitting their bye weeks at 6-2. With 9 games to go, they go 5-4 at the worst. One would think that's 11 wins. So, and Philadelphia's got 7. You figure they're going to go at least in their last 10 games 5-5, which is better than 11 wins. So if the Eagles go 5-5 and the Cowboys and Giants go 5-4, and that's kind of like the worst one would expect from a teams that are currently 7-0 and 6-2.
Right.
You've got 2 11-win teams that aren't division winners. So that's a pretty damn good supposition. I'll say that's not an overreaction right now. Halfway point.
All right, speaking of Cowboys.
Yes, sir.
And this is for you, TJ.
All right.
We all owe Dak an apology for thinking Cooper Rush might be better.
That's
for
you, not me.
Dallas.
I never thought that. TJ, did you think that?
Not for a single second of my life did I ever
by the end of the year, when we're in our last week of 2022 doing shows and look back on the year.
Is that the dumbest take?
One of the most useless, in the end, by result, topics of conversation that burned up phone lines on shows similar to this one all year long.
I tried to have us not involved in this type of.
Well, I mean,
tomfoolery.
Jerry invited it. Jerry invited it when he said
Yeah, but
that
you called
give me
it.
a quarterback controversy.
You called it immediately.
Before
You knew
even
what
hearing
it
the
was.
soundbite, I said he's just inviting what he would know would be the controversy that's not within his own halls, not within his own office walls. But he was just inviting all the wins to force that on the Cowboys as a topic of conversation, despite it never being a possibility. So what else you got over there, Chris?
Did anybody wake up early and borrow an ESPN Plus account and watch the Broncos?
Well, I woke up early to host a program and give you updates throughout it on NFL Network. So I was finally tuned to the high knees of Russell Wilson.
Cage loves saying Broncos country, let's ride. It's super funny. They're going to ride right into the playoffs.
That's ridiculous. That's such an overreaction. Come on, man.
Russ is back.
Stop it. Stop it.
Broncos country.
Sure. Why not?
They finished strong. They
Defense
finished
is
strong.
really good.
Hey, man, Russ was throwing that deep ball to KJ Hamler with some old school stuff. You know what it looked like? It looked like Geno Smith to Tyler Lockett in Seattle.
Which one?
Yesterday.
The one that hit Lockett in the face
one that
or the one that he caught?
The one that he caught for a score.
Got it.
KJ Hamler, nice deep ball by Russ on 3rd and 5. He high-kneed it for a first down. So good for him. They needed that win. Certainly the coach needed the win. 3 and 5. Come on, man. And the problem for them is they've already lost to the Jets. Denver, they've made this bet, man. They went to the LA Chargers, couldn't win that game, and in overtime, they got a problem because teams in front of them, they've already lost to. So.
All right, well, since you brought it up, Zach Wilson is going to cost the Jets a playoff spot.
Hey, man, that is, for the moment, in week number 8, an understandable position. An understandable position. We will see, is all I'm going to say. I will call that an overreaction for the moment. Just to repeat what I said earlier in the program, Zach, hit your back foot. Find your read. If that guy's not open, let's spend so much more time figuring out where reads 2 and 3 are. Instead of just the, fight or flight? Well, there's not much fight in between finding reads 1 and 2 and 3 right now. There's a lot of flight, and it's not the take flight that there's the hashtag for the team.
Take flight.
How about that?
How about that?
So I will say, let's see from here on out. But without Breece Hall, it's going to be more on his shoulders. So I'll say that's an overreaction, but I respect the topic.
The only starter in the NFL with a worse passer rating is Kenny Pickett than Zach Wilson.
Thanks for that aside.
That's a stat.
Research.
That's a fact.
Thanks,
a fact.
bud. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.